When you're the wine capital of Australia, the art of blending comes naturally. But South Australia blends far more than just wine. In November each year, Adelaide blends together casual camaraderie with some serious motorsport when she hosts the renowned tarmac rally, the Classic Adelaide. A brilliant blend, Classic Adelaide has seen over 2,000 vehicles compete on some of Australia's finest roads. In 2006, Australia's foremost international tarmac rally celebrated its 10th anniversary, bringing cars of a bygone era to Adelaide. Classic Adelaide has attracted great interest both locally and internationally, bringing more than 300,000 visitors to the city of Adelaide since 1997. The participation of motorsport identities such as Murray Walker, Sir Jack Brabham and Stephen Richards further confirms the status of this international motoring event. With Jim Richards, Mick Doohan and Stuart O'Grady headlining the entry list and competition at its capacity, 2006 promised to be yet another vintage year. Classic Adelaide is conducted over a number of special stages, utilising South Australia's unparalleled sealed public roads. The event covers approximately 1,000 kilometres, including transport stages. Over 5 days, competitors would compete in 34 special stages, all vying for the 2006 Classic Adelaide title. Classic Adelaide is actually 4 rallies in one, as the field is divided into 4 separate categories. The competition section is an international standard special stage rally for vehicles no older than the beginning of 1991. Motorsport driving experience is required as there are no speed limits on closed road stages. The competition section is timed and competitive with overtaking and pace notes permitted. Regularity competitors need to meet an average speed requirement as issued by organisers for each special stage. Crews are required to maintain that average speed for each stage. The precise time is not revealed to competitors before the stage, and they're penalised points for being late or early at the time control. Timing is to 1/100th of a second. Any vehicle can be entered and no special preparation is required. The Shannon's Thoroughbred Tour category allows participants to enjoy a spirited, non-competitive drive over the full closed road course. Crews only require a helmet to enjoy speeds up to a maximum of 130 kilometres per hour. Believe you me, this is far from a sedate Sunday drive. The 4th and final category, the Crown Lager Classic, follows the full rally route, and participants can be part of the rally without the pressure of competition or the expense of documentation and modifications. Competitors travel in groups of 10 to 15 with a leader and sweep vehicle assigned to each group. Classic Adelaide also has a historic section, which was created for vehicles prior to 1947. Entrants in the historic section may participate in any of the 4 categories previously mentioned. The action really starts when the CommuServe prologue brings all the colour and excitement of the Classic Adelaide Rally to the city's doorstep. Run over a 3.1 kilometre course using part of the former Grand Prix and now Clipsal V8 supercar circuit in Victoria Park, the prologue would determine the start order for the competition vehicles, which run through the stages slowest to fastest. So sit back and enjoy the most exotic mobile motor show you'll ever see. Local boys, Tim Possingham and Darren Masters, skillfully tackled the second chicane on the back straight, placing them an equal 6th for the late classic category. The hairpin at the southern end of the track saw almost as many different ways of tackling the 180-degree right-hand turn as there were cars in the event. Further proof of Classic Adelaide's international standing is that European manufacturers Mercedes-Benz and Porsche have entered all Classic Adelaide rallies to date. And in 2006, Ferrari again joined Classic Adelaide for the second time. In making their journey to the starting line of Classic Adelaide, these manufacturers have entered rare and priceless vehicles chosen from their corporate museums. And many of these vehicles have travelled out of Europe for the first time. Porsche's museum director, Klaus Bischoff, accompanied their special vehicles on what has become for him an annual pilgrimage.
Adelaide again, yeah. In spring always Tiger Tasmania, and then in our autumn in Adelaide, yeah? Because in Germany it's no cold, so it's a good reason and for a good event to come to Adelaide again. And of course Porsche's feature mark. We have a little bit a museum exhibition, and so I have to be here.
Now over the next few days you might be tasting some of Adelaide's great wines, do you think?
Oh, that's necessary, you know, guys. Especially we come also from Stuttgart, which is a wine area, and we have to taste it here also. We look around, girl, which will be the best, and every evening maybe we have not enough evening to taste it.
The twilight format of the prologue and its close proximity to the city centre provided many spectators with their first glimpse of some of the world's finest classic cars in action. Regular competitor Colin Sutton owns one such car.
The car's been built in Canberra, and the XJ13 was the one and only Jaguar car that was made to win Le Mans, to race against the Ford G40. And 40 means 40 inches off the ground, which is this car 40 inches to the top. And that was to go under the fog at Le Mans. This car, the original car, crashed, the wheel collapsed, and doing 180 miles an hour. And the driver survived it, walked away, and he's actually driven this car. So it's all quite interesting.
From Classic Adelaide veterans to Classic Adelaide virgins, Craig and Louise Morrison flew the flag for another of the rally's featured marques, Ferrari.
Yeah, this is our first classic. We're doing a recce this year. We're in the fat underbelly, you know, the soft underbelly part, you know, the classic tour. But next year we'll probably do the thoroughbred. We'll see how we go.
Shocking car to do the tour in.
Oh yes, absolutely shocking. But you know, Barchettas, they don't usually come out to play. And know this sort of weather, we're very fortunate. Wherever there is a Barchetta, there will be sunshine. So for the rest of the week, we're going to have nothing but sunshine.
Ian Begley set out to prove that slow and steady wins the race, but was interrupted by Mark Hoffman's 1979 Ferrari 308 GT4.
1550.
Rob Thompson and Gordon Taylor have competed in 6 of the 10 Classic Adelaides. Their 1939 3.5-litre Jaguar SS100 was one of only 126 built. Now, this is all very civilised for the event?
Yes, it is. It's a great event. We've done lots of them and we thoroughly enjoy it. Like driving the old car, because then you know you're really working hard and you're having a good day even though you're not going that quick.
The order of the vehicles travelling around the short but exciting prologue course saw the Crown Lager Classic Tour conclude the day's events. At the end of a big first day, it was Stack and Forgy who parked their 1970 Porsche 911 RS replica in first for the Classic Competition category. Second and third positions were filled by husband and wife teams. In second, the Catlins in their 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 302. And in third, the Freestones in their 1958 Austin Healey 100. In the late Classic competition, Classic Adelaide favourites Jim Richards and Barry Oliver just made the top 10, finishing equal 8. Looking to the late Classic competition leaderboard, and it was no surprise to see 2005 champions Broadbent and Goodyear in first. But it was a shock to see Keith and Marianne Callanan in second, especially after their 2005 off-road adventure on the prologue stage. Wallace and Davies finished third in their 1989 BMW M3. Stay tuned. After the break, all the action of the Classic Adelaide Day 1 begins. The first competition day of the 2006 Classic Adelaide contained 7 special stages, utilising some of Adelaide's most spectacular roads. Each day competition starts in the heart of the city at the Hilton Adelaide Promenade and travels through some of South Australia's premier wine districts and tourism hotspots. The rally returns each night to the Adelaide CBD, allowing entrants to enjoy the best fine dining and hospitality. Leg 1 took competitors through Upper Hermitage, Chain of Ponds and Gamaraka before a gourmet lunch at Peter Lehman Winery in Tanunda. The afternoon competition took competitors from Tanunda to Flamenco Park, Checker Hill, then Mount Bearer, with the final stage of Leg 1 appropriately named the Corkscrew. Traditionally, the first day of competition sorts out the men from the boys and the cars that have loose nuts and bolts from those that don't. 4-time Classic Adelaide winners, Rex Broadbent and Michael Goodyear, know this better than anyone. Now, gentlemen, defending the 5th title, how's it feel?
Just as challenging as the last 4.
Michael, any pressure?
No pressure, no. Just got to enjoy it or else we'll muck it up.
What keeps bringing you back?
Certainly not fame or glory. We love it. Look, if we were running in a level 2 car, class 2, we'd still come back just for that. It is so good. The hospitality in Adelaide and the quality of the roads to rally on, you can't ask for more.
Just tell us a little bit about the car, Rex, if you can, just briefly.
It's an ex-race car, goes right back to the late 80s. It took very little to convert it to a rally car, and that's all we did. We selected some ratios and took a bit of weight out and put a second seat in and gave it a birthday with a coat of paint, and it looks the part.
2006 is the 3rd time that Jim Richards and Barry Oliver have entered their 1988 Porsche 944 Turbo Cup car.
First time we were a little bit, you could say, not really ready for it, and we had a few little hoses come loose and stuff, but last year it finished well and finished second to Rexy, and this year we're trying to at least finish second to him again.
Or more. What brings you back to Adelaide?
Oh, listen, it's a great event. I mean, one of the attractions is the fact that I think the classic car thing, which is good, but one of them is that you're in Adelaide and you do 4 loops around and come back to the same bed, so you sort of unpack once and you're set there, and that adds to the flavour of it. But the competition in this particular category, which is the sort of, you could say, the historic or the classic, is great because you compete against guys that you normally don't compete against, and you find that they're driving just as good as you are, and sometimes better. So it's just another dimension. It's really good.
Special Stage 1, Upper Hermitage, hosted the first real test for man and machine. Hannaford Hump Corner, a hard right-hand turn that never fails to entertain. At the best of times, Hannaford Hump Corner is difficult. Add to this the after effects of competition cars rounding it at high speeds, and you have one serious challenge on your hands. As one 1967 Morris Mini Cooper S found out.
Yeah, just coming into, it was a long 9, and so we had plenty of speed up, and then sort of missed the call for this corner. Didn't know what was coming up, and just so hit the brakes and just couldn't pull it up in time. These minis slow up pretty quickly, but not that quickly, and we just did about a 100-metre slide straight into the bank, and that's about it for today, I reckon.
Special Stage 3 covered 5 kilometres of Gamaraka country. Hard country that would weed out the cars with problems from those without. A 1925 Vauxhall 3098 was the stage's first victim. So what went wrong?
Oh, blown up a clutch, I think. Pretty sure it's a clutch, yes.
Is the damage repairable?
Yeah, but not today. We've got a spare clutch to fit, but that's back in Adelaide. So we must have known something.
Featured marque Mercedes-Benz returns year after year praising the dynamics of the Classic Adelaide event. Curator of the Mercedes-Benz Classic Car Museum, Dieter Ritter, and his navigator daughter, Jacqueline Ritter, were competing in a 1962 300 SL Roadster. At the other end of the car spectrum were Kevin Hepworth and Simon Johnson in a 2006 Chrysler 300C SRT8. The 300C and the SL Roadster were both competing under the same category despite their many differences. Barossa born and bred Peter Lehmann Wines are one of Australia's most respected and innovative winemakers that delight wine lovers around the globe. Winemaking operations are carried out at a single site near Tanunda, in the heart of the internationally famous Barossa Valley, which was the lunch stop for this leg of the event. Our hosts were Doug and Peter Lehmann, the proud recipients of the 2006 International Winemaker of the Year Award.
We were absolutely chuffed about it, you know, it was really terrific. There was 5,000 entries.
5,000, wasn't it? Yeah. So,
90-odd countries competing. So first of all, you've got to win Australia Winemaker of the Year, and then you go up against all the top other nations, and then to emerge as the International Winemaker of the Year. That says something for the Barossa and for our winemakers.
Now, your association with the Classic Adelaide is a good mix for you?
well, we've been involved. This is our 7th year, and it's been terrific. I mean, we get to people get to see the winery, they get to come to the Barossa, and it's all about sort of image. And you know, I enjoy motorsport, as you know, and it works very, very well. I mean, I'd like to think that most people go away and buy a bottle of Lehmann's. A lot of them tell me they do, so I believe them. Cheers, everyone.
Good luck.
Drink a Lehmann. Bye.
Part of the beauty of the Classic Adelaide is the mixture of people who compete, from husbands and wives to fathers and sons. In Classic Adelaide again, Vern?
Yeah, 5th time.
What's the appeal of them to you?
Well, one is doing it with my son, Kieran, who's buried in the car there. And I've been very lucky to have a nice car each year from Mercedes. That's been pretty special. And just, you know, it's just great fun, great roads, and catching up with people from, you know, all around the place that we've known for many years.
Now, in the class which you're racing here, what can you do? Do you get the opportunity to test the Merc out?
Well, we are limited to 130 kilometres an hour, which is for all of the Classic Tour cars. We don't have rollover cages and things like that. And it's good fun right up to that, but then it seems a bit slow at times on the very fast roads where we obviously could go a lot faster. But, you know, I think that's fair enough. You know, we get to do this fantastic event, and the limitation of the speed is a safety issue, and I think it's a, you know, responsible thing to do.
Horton Poulter proved you can have your cake and eat it, having his crew work on his car while he enjoyed the Peter Lehmann lunch. So what happened?
We just happened to do a starter motor at the end of, or it's actually the start of Gummaraka. So we thought we'd get through Gummaraka, come up and have some lunch. So we've dragged the boys up here to Peter Lehmann's. We thought we'd enjoy our nice lunch and hopefully get the starter motor changed quick enough so they can have a nice bite to eat as well. So it's not so serious. It's actually quite pleasant, believe it or not. I'm not stressed. That's good.
Like most of the cars in the Classic Adelaide, Horton's Datsun has a fair history.
This little car has just basically been rebuilt from the ground up, finding all the bits from anywhere from New Zealand to Japan to Australia. So it's been a long task. It's about a 10-year project, finding all the bits, but it's finally come together, and it's a lot of fun. We have so many people say, that was my first car, or, you know, my dad owned one of these, and it's great. So it's a great feeling. I mean, the people of Adelaide are fantastic like that. They always come up and have a chat and talk to you about their old car, which is great.
As the Classic Adelaide continues, the 4th special stage was the idyllic setting of Flamenco Park. Despite being plagued with some minor issues prior to lunch, Dean Goes and Wayne Clark were steadily improving their times. That was until they struck trouble. So what happened?
Well, at this stage we're not 100% sure, apart from coming into the stage up there on the corner. Lost traction in a big way. We've obviously lost a lot of engine oil. We've probably blown a hose towards the oil cooler side, I would suggest. We're very lucky. We ran wide in order to keep whatever oil was on the road to the left. Looked for a place to run off, and here we are. Rather disappointed, actually.
The Ferrari F40, one of the highest performing street legal vehicles ever produced. Really? Also taking it easy was driver Ross Reed. And relief for Dean Goes and Wayne Clark as the issue with their Porsche becomes clearer.
Well, yes, in some regards, we think we found the problem, oil filter O-ring, so we're able to get mobile under our own steam. Obviously, concerns are to make sure we firstly make sure that is the problem and we do get it fixed, and secondly that then we can get back to paddock in New Park tonight by 10 p.m. Otherwise, that's it for us for the event, so fingers crossed.
Special Stage 7, appropriately named the Corkscrew, was 12.39 kilometres of twisting road snaking up through the Mount Lofty Ranges whilst running parallel to Adelaide's Kangaroo Creek Reservoir. The regularity category requires significant skill by the crew. Skilled driver John Goodall and navigator Graham Pallich in their 1958 Austin Healey 100 mastered the stage, maintaining the average speed and coming in 6th. Italian design with American power, this 1974 De Tommaso Pantera was driven by namesakes Nick and Ches. At the end of a blistering Leg 1, in the Classics, Stack and Forgy managed to maintain their prologue lead. In second sat Lennon Gale Catlin's 1969 Ford Mustang. However, with the Freestones dropping to 5th, third place was claimed by Woodward and McCrow, who after an amazing first day, climbed from equal 23rd to 3rd. Big changes to the late Classic competition scoreboard saw Pye and Geelan go from equal 45th on the prologue stage to 4th on Leg 1. Stracharson and Dale finished 3rd, 9 spots up from the day before. Richards and Oliver, who finished equal 8th on the prologue, found themselves in 2nd place, while Broadbent and Goodyear maintained 1st. Stay tuned. Up next, all the action from Leg 2 of the 2006 Classic Adelaide.